What if I told you to book the damn ticket? Would you do it? And go on that solo trip? Would you do it? Peace. It has been a while since I have set that camera up, this ring light up, and really sat in front of my camera to talk to you guys. It has been such a long time. We're not going to talk about how many years, but friend, where have you been? Like, it's crazy because as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about my first solo journey ever to one of the countries I have fell in love with. It has captured my heart, captured my mind. So I can't wait to get into all the details with you guys. My intention um, with documenting this journey is to inspire someone that is thinking about doing a solo journey, because I've watched so many women before me and they inspired me to go on this journey. There's a whole bunch of things that led up to this. I am 32 years old now. So I'll get into all that good stuff. But my name is Alexandra Jolie. If you are new here, pretty much everybody gonna be new here because it's been a while. But if you're new here, my name is Alexandra Jolie. You are watching Jolie TV. If you happen to stick around to the end and like what you see, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. My hope and my intention is to build a community of people who grow together and learn together. When we ask questions and things of that nature. So please, if you have any questions along this journey on this video or any videos in the future, please comment, like, talk to me. I want to build an awesome community of growth and wellness and all of us on love's frequency. If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume that's the frequency you're on anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm a week away from my solo journey to Costa Rica, and I'm having all the feels. Like, I'm excited, I'm a little nervous, I'm super curious, I'm reflecting, um, preparing. There's so many words I could use for how I feel right now. It's a whirlwind of feelings, but most importantly, I feel excited and I feel ready to embark on this journey. It's so funny because when you plan a solo journey, it doesn't start when you get on that plane. The solo journey, once you make that decision to go on a solo journey, the journey starts then. So I have been preparing my mind, body, and spirit for this excursion I'm about to go on because, honey, I've never been out the country by myself and for a long period of time. This is not no week vacation. Like, I bought a one-way ticket because I'm not sure when I'm coming back. But I am coming back. I'm not ready for the move yet. I just don't know when, so I didn't want to lock a date in. I kind of just want to go and experience at my leisure, and when I'm ready to come home, I come home. It's guaranteed a month, just because I booked the Airbnb for a month. But who knows? I could be out there for 2 months, 3 months, who knows, you know? So anyway, this trip is me being self-full, okay? I want to reconnect with myself. I want to ground myself. I want to be able to hear the messages that I haven't been able to hear in the States, and wrapped up in the life that I'm wrapped up in. We all know living in the States is a whole different ballgame than being in nature in somewhere like Costa Rica that's slower and with natural foods and all the things. So I really just wanted to have a soft reset for myself. So this is kind of like a retreat, but a solo retreat. Instead of paying somebody thousands of dollars, which is nothing wrong with that, I wanted to facilitate that for myself and really just get back in tune with myself, get to know myself again. I'm 32 years old now, so like, I'm a different woman, especially from the last videos you guys seen on my YouTube. Like, I am not that girl anymore. I am a grown woman, honey. What are you talking about? 32 feels crazy because I feel like I don't feel that far away from my 20s at all. Actually, I still feel like I'm in my 20s, but I also feel like I'm in my 30s. And the 30s is such a remarkable teacher. It has been teaching me so many things in this era. So that's one of the things that has pushed me to go to Costa Rica. I want to hear my thoughts and feel my own energy, and just, like I said, have a soft reset. What if I told you to book the damn ticket? Would you do it? And go on that solo trip? Would you do it? Hmm. I'm doing it scared. I'm following my Ori, aka I'm listening to my spirit and spreading my wings. Like, traveling has been on my heart for years, and I finally I'm taking that leap. So why Costa Rica? Costa Rica stole my heart early on. So it's a funny story. I'm gonna kind of backtrack a little bit, but the first time I ever went to Costa Rica was my 30th birthday. And it's funny because I wasn't even supposed to go to Costa Rica. The intention was to go to India. And at that time, I was working at this job, and I had an Indian man. He was my trainer for work. And I'm telling him all about my dreams and aspirations, and telling him I want to go to like India. And I ain't telling him all my business, child. I just told him I want to go to India because I want to experience the yoga community there and learn more and all that good stuff, and immerse myself into the culture. And as I'm telling him this, he was like, no, don't go there. It's not safe. It's all these things. I'm not sure, but this is what he was telling me. He lived there at the time. So he was just like, find somewhere else to go and enjoy yourself. So it's funny. I did so much research on India that I'm going to listen to a local. I'm going to listen to somebody that know their land. Honey, if you tell me not to go, that's what's going to happen. I'm just not going to go. So I ended up looking up other places to go to that had the same vibe of um, being introspective and being one with nature and all the good things, right? I don't really remember how I came across Costa Rica. I just remember searching for a particular type of vibe. I wanted my 30th birthday to be slower, calmer, more peaceful. I wanted to really be introspective and reflective and all the good stuff. So I was looking for something like that. Um, and I came across La Fortuna, Costa Rica. As soon as I saw the first video of La Fortuna, Costa Rica, I was like, that's where I'm going. And once I watched the first video, I started watching other videos. And I'm like, oh, I gotta be there. I watched so much videos, I felt like I was there before I got there. Honestly, the videos don't do it justice. You have to experience La Fortuna. You can watch all the videos in the world. You can watch all the videos in the world, but until you go to a place, you're never gonna experience it the way it is truly. So end up booking the ticket to go to La Fortuna, and I told my partner that we were going, and he was like, where is this place? What is this place? I thought we were going to India. And I'm like, no, we're going to La Fortuna, Costa Rica. He fought me a little bit on it because we didn't know about Costa Rica. We weren't privy to, or we weren't introduced to Costa Rica prior to this trip. So I booked our tickets, and we ended up going, and we ended up having the best time of our lives. It changed our lives. La Fortuna, Costa Rica was life changing. Life changing. I feel like I can speak for the both of us on that. It was a 7-day trip, and I didn't want to come back. 3 days before we had to leave, child, I was crying every day from that third day to the day we left. Honestly, even after we left, I'm crying. I was grieving leaving La Fortuna, Costa Rica. So, of course, I had to go back, right? So, 2 years after that trip, I end up going back with my partner and some family, and we go to Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. Now, this is the Caribbean coast. La Fortuna is more inland. It's like the volcanoes and the hot springs and all these awesome excursions and stuff. And then Puerto Viejo is the Caribbean coast, and it's very black coated, honey. It's Jamaican inspired. There's a lot of Jamaican settlers there, or people from Jamaica that settled in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica, and there's a whole history behind that. I'll probably do that in another video and tell you guys what I learned about it. But I go out there, and there's black people everywhere, and it's beautiful. Like, we're embraced out there. Mind you, I'm Haitian, so I want to go home so bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to make that a thing. Going back to Haiti is going to be a thing. Trust me, that's number one on my list. But going out there reminded me so much of going to Haiti as a kid, the smells and what it looks like. There's such a beautiful sense of community. I've been to Costa Rica twice. This is going to be my third time. I felt welcomed both times in La Fortuna and Puerto Viejo. Costa Rica just has this beautiful energy. It welcomes you so peacefully if you come in that way. Highly recommend if you visit Costa Rica, if you haven't before, go with an open mind and go to slow down. Don't go there trying to be American. Like, don't rush anything. Take a deep breath, slow down, really take nature in, because that's what Costa Rica is all about to me. It just really, it's a life changing experience. What led up to me going on a solo journey? I think we hear about solo journeys all the time now, and I always want to know the backstory. Like, what led you up to this point? What gave you the courage, the audacity to book a solo trip, right? So it started for me back in like 2016, 2017. I'm going to take y'all on a little ride into how I got here or how I came to this point. So 2016, 2017 era, I went on a healing journey. So I was child low vibrational, and at the time I didn't know low vibrational was the verbiage for that. I didn't have that yet, but I was so low vibrational it didn't make no sense. I didn't know who I was, where I was going, where I was heading. I didn't even want to be here. um, I just hit rock bottom in my life, and I felt like I was drowning. It was insane. Like, I'm on land and I feel like I was drowning mentally. So there was a pivotal moment in my life at that time where I was just like, okay, Alexandra, what you gonna do? You either gonna check out, or you gonna put your big girl panties up and you gonna figure this out, because there's a lot of women before you that healed from way worse than what you're going through. Not to compare and contrast, but I'm like, listen, is it really that bad, or do we just gotta figure something out? So I decided at that time, listen, I'm gonna fight through this, and I'm gonna fight to freedom. I'm gonna fight to happiness. I'm gonna fight to health and all that good stuff. And it was hard. It was heavy. It was uncomfortable, but it was so worth it. That journey was insane. Stumbling on my healing journey and things, I started learning things along the way. You know, I started with prayer and just being in solitude, which was really hard for me at the time. I was a people pleaser. I had codependency issues, all the things, right? So being alone and praying and doing all these things, that was not normal for me. But I shut my door and I was like, listen, it's going to be me versus me right now. We're going to feel everything. We're going to face everything, because what is wrong? Like, what are we doing? And if you guys would like a story time on my healing journey, if you want me to go more in depth, I definitely could do that. Just drop a comment. Let me know if you want to know more. But I won't be too long-winded about that. But anyway, so I go on my healing journey and I run across this video or this movie called Eat, Pray, Love. If you haven't heard of Eat, Pray, Love, it is one of my favorite movies with one of my favorite actresses, Julia Roberts. I ended up watching it, and I only watched it because it was Julia Roberts. So if it has her on, I'm probably gonna watch it, right? So I ended up watching it, and that movie sparked something in me that I can't explain. So if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it, but basically this woman goes on this journey to find herself, and she ends up going to 3 different countries for different amounts of time and finding herself through all that. But I'm gonna leave it at that because you gotta watch it. Okay, pour a glass of wine, sit down by yourself, cook yourself a nice dinner, do what you gotta do, and watch that movie. That movie changed my freaking life. Okay, so after watching that movie, I was like, well, I want to Eat, Pray, Love year. And I couldn't afford to do an Eat, Pray, Love year across the countries and things. So, and this is also why I wanted to go to India, because one of the places she went to in Eat, Pray, Love was India. So I I created an Eat, Pray, Love year at home. I was living in South Jersey at the time. I am a Jersey girl, so shout out to South Jersey. You already know. And I was living in Collingswood actually, and I created my Eat, Pray, Love year in Collingswood. I just used what I had and created that. And what that looked like was, I'm gonna start with Eat. So I took Eat and I started really diving into culinary experiences. Really started diving into taking care of what I'm putting in my body, which led me to being plant-based at the time. And once I got into the plant-based world, that's a whole different world, right? And this is when plant-based wasn't like the hype yet. Okay, this is when plant-based was like, if you know, you know. And once you get into the plant-based community, of course, you come across Dr. Sebi. And if you haven't come across Dr. Sebi, this is your first time, you're welcome. Dr. Sebi is amazing. Anything that's being said about him today, please ignore, because back then Dr. Sebi was that one and that guy and still is, okay? Rest in peace to the God, because he changed a lot of people's lives. He changed mine. He had definitely, with his ideologies and theories and things, I was able to heal my body and my mind and my spirit. So while I'm healing and I'm facing all these things, I'm eating all this good food, my vibrations started to change, right? And I stopped being the victim in my life and started being the co-creator of my life. Like, because obviously we're not creating our lives, right? Their source is God, the Most High, or whatever you call your source or your higher power. There's God, but I'm co-creating with God, right? What do I want my life to look like? I started thinking on that level, and I've never thought like that before. I've never even had the inclination that I could co-create. You know what I mean? Like, I was just going through the motions at one point in my life. So I started eating good food, started cooking. I mean, I'm cooking, honey, getting creative, all that. I'm praying more. I'm waking up. I'm praying. I'm praying throughout the day. I'm praying before I go to sleep. I'm praying in my sleep, child. I was just praying a lot. I was really talking to God a lot. And I'm not talking about, sitting there formally praying. I'm literally talking to God. I'm not on my phone as much with my friends. I'm not outside like that anymore. I'm literally like, God, yo, this hurts and I don't understand this, and let's talk about it. I'm pulling stuff out of me that I haven't touched in a while. Like, it was insane, right? So started praying more. I started doing yoga around this time as well. I think it's been 7 years for me since I've been a yogi, but I started doing yoga, which was another form of prayer. Started going out into nature, which was another form of prayer. And this is also when I started pulling away from religion and started getting a relationship with God by myself. I stopped going to church and all those things. It stopped resonating with me. And, I could go into that in another video, but I opted in for spirituality instead of the system of the religion, right? So started getting closer to God, started really feeling one with God. It was such a powerful time in my life. And the love part. So what the love part signified for me in that time was, now I'm trying to learn what love means for me, right? Because at that time I had no idea what love was. I had no idea what it looked like. I had ideas or examples of what it looked like prior to me gaining my own understanding, but I never knew. So I kind of I, I dived in, or dove in. Babe, is it dove or dived? Like dived in, like a past tense. Okay, so I dove into learning what love meant for me. And I started looking up definitions. I started reading books, bell hooks, all about love, and all these other things that I was starting to read. I started listening to people talk about it. I'm listening to TED Talks. I'm listening to all these people talk about what love means. And it kind of set me on a rabbit hole of learning more about life and what it looks like and what that means for me. What does life mean for me? And not what I was told it was supposed to look like. That opened up a whole new can of worms for me. And I was just like, this makes sense and this makes sense. So I went on the love journey, right? And once I started learning what love meant for me, I started looking back at my relationships and looking at the relationships I had currently and in the past. And I'm like, ooh, that wasn't love. So then I started giving the love I wanted or I needed to myself, and what that looked like. And we could definitely dive into that later. So if you would like more information on self-love or what that looks like for me, please comment. Sis, if you have any questions or any suggestions, please comment. I want us to talk to each other. But anyway, I started doing love baths. I started saying no. No was one of the best things I could have did for myself. Remember, I told y'all early on in this video, I was a people pleaser. I had codependency issues. I was the person everybody called for everything, but I couldn't call no one, and even if I did call somebody, they didn't have the capacity to help me in the way I needed. And I grew up in a family that we had love for each other and we cared for each other, and we still love and care for each other. but I always felt like I wasn't being loved properly. And that's no fault of anyone's. I think my family did the best they could with the information they had. But once I started learning what love was for me, I realized I was never loved the way I needed to be loved. So started giving that to myself in all facets, and Eat, Pray, Love was a big catalyst for that. Um, and honestly, what was the catalyst to have me healing was a horrible relationship. I was in such a crazy relationship, not only with that person, but with my parents. So all of those things were the catalyst to me healing and becoming the woman I am today, which led me to here now at 32, where I'm like, I went on an Eat, Pray, Love journey, and that was like my theme for like several years. Okay, so I was Eat, Pray, Loving like every year, and that's literally my mantra now: Eat, Pray, Love. Eat, Pray, Love. It's a beautiful, beautiful um way to tap into your self-love and self-care, and to elevate yourself in things. So I um cultivated that in South Jersey, where I was residing for a long time. I always knew I wanted to go on a solo journey after, especially after watching Eat, Pray, Love. Mind you, I come from a background of traveling. I've always moved around as a kid. I also have been to Haiti a few times in my life, several times in my life. I've been to Canada, and that's about it with my parents. But I never really started traveling by myself until I hit my late 20s, out the country. I mean, I did, a lot of the states in the United States, but out the country, that was very new for me, in my late 20s, early 30s. So, um, yeah, so that's what led me to today, where I'm 7 days away from traveling by myself, going on a solo journey. I'm going to do my Eat, Pray, Love in a big way. It's always been on my heart. It's always been on my mind and my soul. It's my personal legend. And if you ever heard personal legend, you know exactly where I got that from. So lately, I've been reading this book. If you've never heard of it, I'm sure if you're watching this video, most of you have heard of it. But The Alchemist, I'm reading this book. Again, I think it's like my fourth, fifth time reading this book, but I can never finish it. And I feel like that was in divine timing, because I don't think I was meant to finish it back then. But now that I'm about to go on a solo journey, this book is literally in perfect alignment with what I'm doing and what I want to do, what I want to discover. This book goes into talking about omens and your personal legend. And one of my favorite quotes from this book, I don't want to butcher it, so I'm gonna pull my notes up. Um, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. That is one of my favorite quotes from this book, because as soon as I made up my mind to go on this solo journey, when I tell you, things just started falling into place. And it's not easy for a lot of people to break out of the norm, and book a ticket, book a flight or Airbnb and go on a solo trip. It doesn't seem ideal in today's economy. It doesn't seem ideal with all the things going on. We're so stressed. We're so high strung. We're so like, some of us are super attached to making money the way they tell us to make money, child. It got to make sense for a lot of people to go on a solo journey. But honey, I follow my spirit, and that's just one thing I'm gonna do. It's never let me wrong. And honestly, every time I go against my spirit, like with my intuition, I promise you, shit goes wrong. Like, so this was the one time, like, I'm like, no, I'm following my Ori. I heard, it's time for me to go. So that's one of my favorite quotes. Another one of my favorite quotes from the book is, "The secret to happiness is to see all the marvels of the world and never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon." That quote is so deep to me, because what that says to me is like, the secret to happiness is to go discover, right? And I believe in that wholeheartedly. That aligns with my ideologies and what I believe in. Is there's more to this life than what we know, and you're not going to find out what you need to know if you stay in one place your whole life. Yeah, it's comfortable. Yes, it's familiar, but you're going to reach your max, your cap at some point. You're not going to grow. You know what I mean? So this quote just reminds me, like, Go see the marvels of the world. Go find your happiness. Create your happiness for yourself. But never forget the oil on the spoon, which is where you come from, who you are, your growth, things of that nature. So it's just a reminder, like, yeah, go explore, go do what you need to do for your spirit, but stay grounded in reality and be present. Um, you don't want to be too far gone, you know what I mean? So those are my two favorite quotes from the book. I'm actually almost finished. What page am I on right now? I am on page 142, and I think there's like maybe 20 more pages to go. So I'm almost done this book before I go. And then another book that I'm gonna read once I finish The Alchemist, I'm gonna start reading Eat, Pray, Love. It's always been my dream to go on an Eat, Pray, Love journey and read the book. I've never read the book because I always promised myself I would read it when I actually go on my Eat, Pray, Love journey. Saw the movie. I know the movie probably didn't touch. I know the movie didn't go as hard as the book. It never does. Movies never go as hard as the books. Okay, so I'm gonna read that book while I'm out there. I brought several other books with me to read while I'm in Costa Rica. One of my other intentions while I'm out there is to be intentionally busy. I don't want to be hooked to my TV. I've been binge watching TV so much lately, and I feel like that takes away so much from my creativity and for me learning things that I need to learn, ingesting things I need to ingest. So one of the things I want to do while I'm out there is just really be intentional about my time, really be fully immersed in nature and intentional about what I'm putting into my body, into my mind, and into my spirit. So I'm really excited to go on this journey. Um, I'm not going to be too long winded because I'm going to document my whole journey. It's probably not going to be like every day, of course, but I will be uploading some more videos soon. If you like what you see, please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. There's going to be more videos coming very soon. Yeah, so this is my 7 days till I get on the plane video. I'm super excited. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to say, and I definitely forgot to say it earlier. If there's anything that you take away from this video, if you never watch any one of my videos again, I want you to take this away. You will never live freely until you let go of other people's fear and let go of your own fears. Like, do that shit scared, okay? And don't let anyone else push their fears onto you or their mindset onto you. If there's something that's on your spirit, if there's something that's on your heart, do it, okay? It may not seem ideal, it may not make sense to other people, but that's not your business. If God puts something on your heart, if something is imprinted in your soul the way this journey is for me, please do it. Like, I have things in my past that I gave up for other people that I still like. I don't have regrets, but I am disappointed in in that version of myself that didn't push myself to leave things behind and go find me. And I vowed to myself I will never do that again. So please live freely and push past your fears. Do that shit scared because you deserve it. And on that note, it has been fun to sit here and chat with you guys. Please look forward for my future videos. I can't wait to share this journey with y'all and show this solo journey through my point of view. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, bye.